Australian Army and all other guests to this commemoration service.
This 2024 recording of the Battle of the Coral Sea Memorial event focuses on Mike Harris's speech alone because it shows the great depth of engagement with the diplomatic corps in Brisbane, the military and the general public. But one should also note that there are still World War II veterans attending the event. And not only that, relatives travel worldwide to the event to participate. It's really quite incredible. Enjoy.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's with great pleasure that I now would ask you to deliver a welcome address, Mr. Mike Harris, President of the Australian American Association of Brisbane.
Thank you, Sando. Honoured and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fellow participants, as tradition would have it, we draw together on a day such as this to commemorate and honour a most significant event which took place in 1942, namely the Battle of the Coral Sea. And it's indeed gratifying to note that today we are graced with the presence of so many outstanding, distinguished, worthy and exceptional individuals. This, unfortunately, I will need to curtail from my long list of thanks today so we can focus on the purpose of this commemoration service. So where do I begin? The list is just so long and so overwhelmingly large group of people. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge and warmly welcome our association's patron, Your Excellency the Governor of Queensland, the Honourable Dr. Jeanette Young, ACPSM, and her husband, Professor Graham Nemo, RFD. As well, I extend a warm welcome to the following Consul Generals: the Honourable Christine Alba, the United States of America; the Honourable Junji Goma Kuburu of Japan; the Honourable Richard Cohen of Great Britain; the Honourable Elaine Etchegare of France; the Honourable Reitao Rao of Papua New Guinea; and I cordially welcome Captain Tuan Nguyen, Assistant Chief of Staff for Plans and Engagements, who today is the representative of the United States 7th Fleet. We also have the Australian Federal and State Government organisations with us today, represented by the following: the Honourable Graham Perrott, MP, representing the Prime Minister; the Honourable Senator Paul Scar, MP, representing the Federal Opposition Leader; the Honourable Melissa McMahon, MP, representing the Queensland Premier; the Honourable Tim Nichols, MP, representing the State Opposition; Councillor Julia Dixon, representing the Lord Mayor of Brisbane; and Inspector Heikel, Queensland Police Commissioner's representative. Gracing our commemoration are the representatives of the three branches of the Australian Defence Forces: Commodore Paul O'Grady, DSM, CSM, Royal Australian Navy, Commodore of Flotillas; Group Captain Dennis Tan, RAAF Base Ambling; Brigadier Shane Gabriel, AMDSC, representing the Australian Army, 1st Division. I warmly welcome Commander Rosemary Pikatoa, Commanding Officer of HMAS Morton, and all connected with the Royal Australian Navy Band of Queensland, the Centaur Party, and also joining them today, the Quintet Band from the US Navy 7th Fleet. Welcome to Brisbane, guys. I think you've been here before. I recognise some of you. And as well, the Reverend Dr. Peter Devonish-Mears, Chaplain, Queensland Police Service, currently serving with the Australian Army as a chaplain, who will give the given the prayers already and the benediction later. A sincere welcome is also due to the American Legion, Douglas MacArthur, Post AUO3, Commander Jerry Bongard and Wes Jordan, Also, President Noel Corbett, representing the American Legion Auxiliary, Dorothy Carroll and Barry Teese, who represent the Coral Sea Community Association, and Mike Leggins of Yorktown CV Club. I acknowledge and sincerely welcome representatives of the many veterans associations here today. Scott Mackey, representing the RSL Southeastern Districts, and also he represents Major General Stephen Day, who is President of the RSL. President Frank LeMay and member Joseph Down, representing veterans of the French Forces, and also Keith. Dermot Kelly, officer in charge of the Petrie Ambulance Brigade. President Ian Harding, representing United Service Club Queensland. Captain Casper Kuiper, representing the Brisbane Maritime Museum and Combined Company of Master Mariners of Australia. And Mr. Sheer Halsper, who is a Dutch Royal Marine. He's here today as well. Also Patrick O'Keefe, OAM, representing the Battle for Australia Commemoration Committee, Queensland. State President Patrick Ringgold, representing the Naval Association of Australia, Queensland section. Immediate past President Bob Crawford, representing the Queensland Sappers, and Secretary John Jessup. Lewis Lee, OAM, Chairman of Australians for Chinese Heritage War Memorial Committee. President Chairman Surendra Prasad, OAM, Australian Indian Heritage War Memorial Committee, Ambassador for Peace. And I also extend an affectionate welcome to the members of the Fraternal Organisation of Catholic Men, of which I am a member, namely the Order of the Knights of the Southern Cross Queensland and their chairman, Mr. Michael Hill. And I would like to acknowledge and warmly welcome my good friend and dedicated volunteer to the Brisbane MacArthur Museum, Lieutenant Ron Rees. Ron is supported here today by his son Price and daughter Haley. Deserving recognition is US Vietnam War veteran Mr. Rob White. He is a Spanish resident who has joined us on this occasion for the last 3 years. He's come from Spain every year, and he comes on a mission to lay a wreath in memory of his uncle, John Shin, who served on the USS Phelps DD-360, which participated in the Battle of the Coral Sea. And also Squadron Leader John Burgess, retired RAAF Association of Queensland. And to our devoted Master of Ceremonies, the Honourable Santo Santoro, a most warm and gracious thank you, Santo, for all that you do for our association. And a big thank you to our association's Board of Directors, Vice President Tony Chow, Secretary Alice Langford, Second Vice President Helen Stanley, Treasurer Teresa Pockery and Dr. Peter Glasgow, as well as all the volunteers who have worked here today helping out: Sally Elliott, Brian Doyle, Teresa Gambaro, Robert Duffy, Tony Chow, Jill Tian, Helen Stanley, Morris Hand, Alice Langford, Peter Cumming and Peter Glasgow. And to the many whose names I have omitted, my sincere apology and a plea for absolution, because I have to stop the acknowledgements at this point. There are just so many people here, so I hope you forgive me. And now let us turn our minds to the core of this momentous occasion as we commemorate the 82nd Battle of the Coral Sea and honour and pay tribute to the memory of those who valiantly served with bravery, sacrifice and resilience. And perhaps it would be prudent at this point of time to remind ourselves of this significant moment and its implications in our Australian and also our American history. The battle was fought in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, which geographically described is located between northeastern Australia, eastern New Guinea and the Solomon Islands, and it was a battle fought between the Imperial Japanese Navy and the Allied Naval and Air Forces of the United States and the Naval Forces of Australia. This confrontation, which unfolded in 1942, that lasted from the 4th to the 8th of May, was the first in modern history in which opposing warships did not fire a single shot at the enemy ships, but waged war through the air. All damage was inflicted by carrier aircraft and the indomitable spirit of those who fought on both sides. It was indeed a complex chess game of naval warfare. Not only was it a clash of ships and aircraft, but a confrontation between strategic minds and national wills. Victory was of great significance because the Japanese carrier fleet failed to capture Port Moresby, and their southward push was thwarted. Thus, the vital sea lanes between the USA and Australia were protected. If you feel free to peruse our display of 20 photographic plates from the battle, which should be produced by Paul Johnson. And I believe for the United States of America's unwavering and long-standing friendship, we Australians are very grateful to give our thanks to them. And today, a great pleasure to say this, we are honoured to have among us, in our midst, the last living survivor, Mr. Bill William White from the HMAS Hobart, who participated in that battle, and he is here today and he's 102 years young. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to do this, would you please be upstanding for Bill in recognition and appreciation of Bill? He's sitting there, and I'd just like to, there he is there. I had a couple of proxy beer with Bill for his 101st birthday last year, and we stood toe to toe having these beers in a conversation. Well done, Bill. May you live long. May you live long. Well done. Honoured and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fellow participants, thank you for the opportunity to address you all on this auspicious occasion. And in closing, permit me to share with you a maxim. Let us honour the past, celebrate our shared values, and look towards a future of peace and cooperation. As well, let us commemorate and honour the memory of those who fought and those who sacrificed their lives so that we may have the liberty and the freedom that we daily enjoy. Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
I thank you.